Buenos días, buenas tardes o buenas noches y bienvenido o bienvenida a este video. The verb tener in Spanish is used all the time. Now, the verb tener in English means to have, typically to physically have something. However, there are certain situations in which tener can mean other things. So let's take a look at this. The first and most common use of the verb tener in Spanish is for possession, which is what I was just talking about. It's the most basic use. Tengo un perro. I have a dog. Or, ¿tienes tiempo? Do you have time? ¿Tienes tiempo? An important thing to note here is that in Spanish, when I want to ask a question, all I really need to do is change the intonation of the sentence. So if I were to say, ¿tienes tiempo? I'm saying a statement. You have time. But now I'm saying, ¿tienes tiempo? Do you have time? Okay? The next use of tener is for age. Now, in Spanish, you would not say, yo soy 25 años. That is incorrect. In Spanish, we use the verb tener. So, for example, tengo 25 años. Okay? I am 25 years old. Literally, I have 25 years. You do not say soy, you say tengo, okay? ¿Cuántos años tienes? How many years do you have? AKA, how old are you? Be careful with the pronunciation of this word, años, okay? It is not anos, it's años. If you say anos, you're saying anuses, which I'm pretty sure is not what you want to say. Número tres, obligation, meaning that you have to do something. So, for example, tengo que estudiar. I have to study. This phrase of tener que is very common in Spanish, and it just expresses obligation. So, tengo que estudiar. I have to study. Ella tiene que trabajar. She has to work. That's an obligation. Now, the reason that I underlined ella here is because it is very common that native Spanish speakers will not put on this subject pronoun. They will just say, tiene que trabajar. So, if you had existing context and I were to say to you, tiene que trabajar, you would understand that I'm talking about ella because we were already talking about her previously, okay? So, you could say, ella tiene que trabajar, she has to work, or just tiene que trabajar, okay? Next, idiomatic expressions of state. So something like, tengo hambre, I am hungry. Once again, just like with age, we are not saying yo soy or yo estoy hambre, I am hungry. No, you would say, I have hunger, tengo hambre. Or, tenemos sed. Sed meaning thirst, aka we are thirsty. Literally translating to we have thirst. Okay, so tengo hambre, I am hungry. Tenemos sed, we are thirsty. Okay, next, physical sensations. So something like tengo frío or tengo calor. Okay, I am cold or I am hot. You would not say estoy caliente in Spanish. Do not say that. If you say it, it sounds like you're hot and bothered. What you're really trying to say is that you are hot. Tengo calor. Let's move on to the next ones. The next time you can use tener in Spanish is with luck and fear. So for example, tienes suerte. You are lucky. Tienes suerte. Or tenemos miedo. We are scared. Do not say estamos miedo or estamos miedosos. That is incorrect. You would say tenemos miedo. Literally, we have fear. AKA in English, we are scared. Okay? Número 7, desire. I just realized I didn't underline these, so I'm going to do that because it looks better that way. Desire. There we go. Deseo. Okay? Tengo ganas de comer tacos. And this phrase, tener ganas de, is quite popular in Spanish. You can think of it in English like to feel like doing something. Okay? So, tengo ganas de comer tacos. I feel like eating tacos, or I want to eat tacos. A rough translation of this could also be viewed as to want to do something, okay? ¿Tienes ganas de salir? Okay? Do you want to go out, or do you feel like going out. Tienes ganas de salir. Now, the verb salir can mean literally to go out. For example, to go out of your house. And it can also mean to go out with someone, aka to go on a date with someone, okay? Expressions of success and failure. So, for example, tener éxito, literally meaning to be successful. You could say that someone is successful. So, for example, él es muy exitoso. He is very successful. Or I could say something like, él ha tenido mucho éxito. He has been very successful, or he has had lots of success, okay? Something like tener la culpa, literally meaning to have the blame, okay? En esta situación, tú tienes la culpa. In this situation, you are at fault, or it is your fault, okay? And tener razón, meaning to be correct. Literally translating to have reason, okay? So let's say you're incorrect and you say to someone, you know what, you're right. Tienes razón, you are right. Next, common colloquial expressions, something like tener celos, meaning to be jealous. Now, you could say, estoy celoso, I am jealous, or you could say, tengo mucho celos, I am very jealous. Literally, I have much jealousy. Tener cuidado, to be careful. And it's a very common thing that someone will command you to be careful, right? So in English, we would say, hey, be careful. In Spanish, we would say, ten cuidado. Ten is coming from the verb tener, and it is an informal to command. I go over all that inside my academy, and you can also find videos of that here on this channel. Next, tener confianza, literally to have confidence or to have trust. Most often, the word confianza is used as trust and not as confidence. If you want to say that someone is confident, you can say, él es muy seguro de sí mismo. He is very sure of himself, which in English has kind of a negative connotation. However, in Spanish, that means that that person is confident. If you were to say with your romantic partner, tú y yo tenemos mucha confianza. We have a lot of trust. Okay, we trust each other. Tenemos mucha confianza. And finally, oops, I forgot to underline this. We have future plans. This is kind of like the first use that we saw of tener, but it would be tengo una reunión en 2 horas. I have a meeting in 2 hours. Well, there you have it. Click the link in the video description if you're interested in checking out my Fluent Spanish Speaker Academy. Our goal is to help you have a 10-minute conversation in 90 days without feeling unconfident. Muchas gracias. Espero que tengas buen día. Hasta luego.